Today's video is on cell vocabulary. This is where you need the foldables that we made in class. You will record the definition and draw a small picture to represent each vocabulary word, and the picture does not need to be an elaborate picture, just a small sketch. We're going to look at that there are two types of cells. First, we'll look at the prokaryotic cell. These cells are the cells that first appeared in the geologic time scale. They are much older than the eukaryotic cells. They are smaller than eukaryotic cells. They do not have any membrane-bound structures inside the cytoplasm, and the DNA is just kind of free-floating inside the cytoplasm. So cells that do not have a nucleus or any other membrane-bound organelles. Eukaryotic. Cells with membrane-bound structures and a defined nucleus. Your types of cells are eukaryotic, and a good way to remember is you are eukaryotic. They have lots of organelles inside the cell, and each of them performs a different task. So now the parts of a cell. What's inside a eukaryotic cell? We're going to start with the cell membrane. The cell membrane acts as a gatekeeper, and it controls what goes inside and out of the cell. So it's a protective outer covering of all cells that regulates the interaction between its cell and its environment. Cell wall. Plants are the ones with the cell wall that you know of. It has this hard outer ridge that surrounds the cell. The cell membrane that the plant has is going to be on the inside of the cell wall. Now, not only plants have a cell wall, but algae, fungi, and most bacteria do too. The cell wall is what makes a tree stand tall. It's what gives it its support so that it's not a pile of mush on the ground. Cytoplasm. It's the stuff that's inside. It's the gel-like fluid that everything kind of floats in. So it's constantly moving gel-like mixture inside the cell membrane that contains hereditary material and is the location of most of the cell's life processes. Parts of the nucleus. We're going to start with the nucleus itself as a whole structure, and it's the organelle that controls all activities of the cell. It contains the hereditary material, and it's made of protein and DNA. Next, we have the membrane. The nucleus also has a membrane, just like the cell does, and it does a similar job. It surrounds the nucleus and controls what enters and leaves the nucleus. Then we have the nuclear pores. They're little tiny structures inside the nuclear membrane, and that's the place where substances are going to move through. So it serves as a pathway for the exchange of materials between the nucleus and the cytoplasm. And next we have the nucleolus. Inside the center of the nucleus, you'll find a dark center. That's called the nucleolus, and it has the job of making ribosomes. DNA. The long name is deoxyribonucleic acid, the genetic material of all organisms. So all living things have DNA. Ribosomes. They're very, very tiny little structures. You'll find them attached to endoplasmic reticulum, but they're little tiny dots. And it's their job to take amino acids and turn them into proteins. Endoplasmic reticulum. It's this lighter pink stuff here. It's a series of folded membranes, and you'll find the endoplasmic reticulum right next to the nucleus. The purple dots that you see are the ribosomes. So it's a series of folded membranes that extends from the nucleus to the membrane, cell membrane, and it transports proteins, breaks down chemicals, and makes lipids. Lysosome. This is considered the garbage collector of the cell, because an organelle makes a lot of waste as well. So the lysosome is going to digest the food particles, the waste, and foreign invaders. So anything not wanted in the cell, the lysosome will surround it and break it down. Mitochondria. Notice they call it the bean-shaped organelle. Inside it has a series of membranes as well, and it is the organelle that breaks down food and releases energy. It's known as the powerhouse of the cell. So this organelle will take food energy and turns it into a chemical energy that cells can use. And that energy is called ATP. Chloroplast. Plants have chloroplasts, and this is the organelle that makes the food energy. So green chlorophyll organelle that uses light energy to produce sugar from carbon dioxide and water. It's where food energy is made. Vacuole. Both plants and animal cells have a vacuole, but in a plant cell it is very, very large. In an animal cell, you will have several small ones. The definition of a vacuole is an organelle that serves as a storage area for food, water, and waste. If you've ever had vegetables that wilt in the refrigerator, or a plant that hasn't been watered in a while will wilt, which means the leaves kind of drop and sag, that's because there was a loss of water inside the vacuole. So there's lots of empty space inside the cell, and that causes it to wilt. So a plant will wilt because of loss of water in the vacuole. Alright, you will use this foldable as evidence of watching the video. So be ready to have that, show me that when you come into class. You can add color. It's not an assignment right now, but adding color to your foldable will help you remember and helps you study. See you in the next class.